Well, it's about that time again. Time to go pick up some more used parts. And I have a build possibly coming up, and this is pretty much going to get that started. It's a GTX 960 2GB card, and offered them $70 for it, and they agreed. So let's go seal the deal. Alrighty, I just pulled up at my house with the stuff. Well, yeah, actually I say stuff and I'll get to it right now. Here is the graphics card, a 2GB GTX 960, $70. Well, I can't wait to test this out and see how good it works, make sure that it even works. But here's the bonus. Let's come over here real quick. The guy came out and just handed me his old case. Said, you know, it's a little beat up, but if you have a use for it, you can take it. And I said, you know what? For sure. It also has a disc drive, so I mean, these are like $18 by themselves. This is probably like a $30 or $40 case new on the cheaper side, and it has a good bulge on the side for extra wiring if you have messy wire management like I tend to do. And I think I might be able to make use of this case. What a deal, $70 right there.
Hey guys, Chris with Coalition Gaming here, back with another video for you guys. And well, I gotta say, recently I came across a deal for a 2GB GTX 960 for a budget build that we're gonna be working on. Well, I got to thinking, that only cost me $70 off of, I think it was Craigslist? Yeah, it was Craigslist. And previously I had gotten a 4GB 960 for $100. So the range of what you can get a 960 realistically should be anywhere between $70 to $100, which seems about right, I think, for that level of graphics card in the used market. Well, let's cut it in the middle, count it right around $85. Well, guess what else goes around that price? A GT 1030. So if you had around $80 and you were unsure what to get and you were open to new or used, I think this comparison might be something interesting for you guys. A while back, we did a review on the GT 1030 that'll be linked right up here, and with that we tested a few games, did a few synthetic tests, and we're actually pretty surprised with the results that the 1030 produced for, you know, for its I guess its level of card. A card like that is not something historically that you would want to game on, but the 1030, I think now it's somewhat doable, especially if you're into esports titles like Overwatch. And well, yeah, let's throw those same games at this 2GB GTX 960. So it's 2GB card for 2GB card, same VRAM limitations, same games, although I guess between then and now, since I don't have that 1030 anymore, there may be some variances in terms of game optimization, specifically PUBG, but I mean, I don't really think that that card was going to do much better than 30 or 40 FPS, even with any improved optimizations. So let's put it together. Let's look at these numbers. Looking at Firestrike, we have a score of 3605 for the GT 1030, and the GTX 960 absolutely stomps it with a score of 7307. Man, yeah, I mean, I guess everyone was expecting that, but that's pretty significant. Looking at Superposition, we have a score of 2533 for the 1030 and 4621 for the 960. That's a little bit closer than Firestrike showed, but still, obviously the 960 is going to be the winner there. Siege on the medium preset, GT 1030 did impressive with a 58.4 FPS average overall, and the GTX 960 knocked it out of the park with 113.5. Now I'm looking at average FPS at 1680 by 1050 on my test bench, same setup that the 1030 was on for the 960, and because back then I wasn't using proper measuring tools, I was basically eyeballing the numbers, just keeping track of what I was seeing on screen and kind of coming up with a ballpark average there. I used what I could. So for the 960, these are measured with Afterburner, the benchmark utility, but I'm pulling the average numbers for you guys. If you want to see the 1% lows and 0.1% lows of the 960 in these games, leave a comment down below and I'll add those for you guys. Anyways, on to Overwatch. 100 FPS was the average for the GT 1030 with 163.5 for the 960. Awesome. Ghost Recon Wildlands on low. Now this game is pretty intensive for most cards, and I was actually surprised that the 1030 was able to run an average FPS of 33.51. But in comes the GTX 960 with the 71.84 average. Nice. And here we go, PUBG on the very low preset. GT 1030 scored around an average of about 32 FPS. And then the GTX 960, brace yourselves for this one, 101.6. Now, like I mentioned, this might be up due to optimizations and all that, but no matter how you look at it, the GTX 960 has a lot more headroom in terms of performance than a GT 1030. So, I mean, you can only get so much out of a 1030, I imagine. And then we have BF1 on low. The GT 1030 did very well for itself at 55 FPS. Then in comes a GTX 960 with 89.5. So, very good, very impressive FPS results for both sides, honestly. But the GTX 960 blows the 1030 out of the water. So this is the 960 that was being used for all this. Now, it's a blower model. It did get up to about 80-81C under load max, which I guess is still fine for, this is Maxwell. And you know, performed great. I think a maximum boost was about 1300, and then once it started to get closer to 80 degrees Celsius, it dropped to around 1291, then 1278. Still pretty good numbers. Didn't do any overclocking on it because, well, the 1030 was already at a disadvantage compared to this card. And so, yeah, $70 for this guy, good deal there. And the 4GB one, obviously $100, a little bit of a better deal. Well, maybe not so much. Either way, $70. You guys should be able to find these 960s in the $70 to $90 range relatively easily. Craigslist, letgo, offerup, even Reddit hardware swap. You should be able to find these. So with that said, if you have around $80, what do you guys think is the better way to go? The used 960 or a GT 1030? I mean, if you're all about performance and you don't mind going on a used parts hunt, the 960 is definitely going to be the better choice. And for somebody like me, I'm going to say 960 all day long over that. But, you know, not everybody likes to buy used parts, and the GT 1030 is pretty much the best you can do at around the $80 price point. And the prices do vary from site to site, place to place, especially with prices having gone up recently. I remember when it first came out, it was about $72, and now it seems to be averaging around $85. So it loses a lot of value anywhere above $75, honestly, especially with 960s like this floating around that will just stomp it in its price range in the used market. Anyways, if you guys like this video, click that thumbs up button. Subscribe, we got more coming. Stay tuned for our weekly streams Wednesdays at about 8 p.m. and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.